US Air Force has just made history, and the entire world is watching with unease. This isn't just a new jet or stealth upgrade. It's a leap into autonomous warfare that could upend every military strategy on the planet. AI-driven fighter jets, manned-unmanned combat teams, and battlefield decisions made in milliseconds without human input. Is this the future of warfare, or a dangerous new arms race? Backed by Pentagon statements, secret trials, and rising global tension will reveal how the US just changed everything and why rivals are scrambling to catch up. The day autonomous combat became real. The day autonomous combat became real. It was a crisp morning over Edwards Air Force Base in early 2024 when history took flight. Literally, in a controlled yet real-world dogfight, an F-16 soared into the sky to face off against another jet. But this wasn't your typical training run. One aircraft was piloted by a seasoned Air Force veteran, the other controlled entirely by artificial intelligence. It was part of DARPA's Air Combat Evolution (ACE) program, a multi-year initiative aimed at testing the limits of autonomy in aerial warfare.
Trying to develop trusted, scalable, human-level AI-driven autonomy for air combat.
For the first time ever, an AI-controlled fighter jet wasn't just simulating combat. It was living it, moving through real air, under real G-forces, in a real aircraft. Observers on the ground, many of them defense contractors and military brass, watched in awe as the AI-powered jet executed maneuvers with surgical precision. It didn't hesitate, didn't panic, and didn't need permission. Every move it made was calculated, fluid, and lethal. One Pentagon official described the scene as watching the future fly circles around the past. This wasn't science fiction anymore. It was combat evolution in action. The AI didn't require GPS to navigate, nor did it wait for human commands. It operated off sensor fusion, internal logic, and lightning-fast reaction speeds. Unlike human pilots, it didn't tire, didn't second-guess, and never blinked. This wasn't just a demonstration, it was a declaration. A colonel involved in the project said bluntly, "It's a revolution in command. The pilot was just along for the ride." The implications of that statement are staggering.
One of the primary problems machine learning and artificial intelligence has had to overcome is something called the sim-to-real problem.
For over a century, air combat has been defined by the instincts, reflexes, and courage of human pilots. But in one flight, that paradigm began to collapse. Machines weren't just supporting the mission anymore, they were running it. What followed was a surge in urgency across the defense tech community. DARPA's test didn't just prove AI could fly a jet, it proved AI could fight. That single flight accelerated collaboration between the US Air Force and a roster of top defense contractors: Kratos, Boeing, Anduril, Lockheed Martin. These aren't side projects, they're keystones of the Air Force's future. Under the Collaborative Combat Aircraft (CCA) program, the Pentagon now plans to deploy more than 1,000 autonomous or semi-autonomous fighter drones by 2028. Each one is designed to be attritable, a term that means it's cheap enough to lose but effective enough to count. These aircraft are not disposable toys. They're fast, modular, AI-brained war machines capable of flying alongside manned jets or heading into battle alone.
A target aircraft we shoot at, a tactical aircraft system like the Valkyrie shoots back.
And what's most important, these machines learn, using real-world combat data, especially from conflicts like the war in Ukraine. AI models are being trained at record speed to adapt and evolve in dynamic combat environments. Unlike human pilots who require months or years of training, AI can download skills and strategies in days or even hours, making it theoretically more lethal with each mission. But this shift isn't just about hardware, it's about philosophy. Autonomous air combat removes the most vulnerable component in any fighter jet, the human being. That means no pilot to protect, no body to recover, no letter home. The implications stretch from battlefield logistics to global geopolitics. Suddenly the cost of war, at least in American lives, could decrease, making military interventions more politically palatable. But it also makes combat easier to initiate and harder to contain. That balance of power once defined by human limits, is now being reshaped by lines of code and silicon brains. And this was just the beginning, because while DARPA was proving autonomy could fly and fight, another program was quietly laying the groundwork to scale this technology across all domains of war, land, air, sea, and space. It's called the Replicator Initiative, and it's not just about drones. It's about overwhelming enemies with thousands of intelligent, expendable, and coordinated machines. It's about rewriting the entire US military playbook. But this wasn't a one-off experiment. It was the first ripple of something much larger. The Replicator program is about to rewrite everything we thought we knew about warfare. The Pentagon's secret swarm plan. In August 2023, the Pentagon quietly dropped a bombshell. Not in the form of ordnance, but in strategy. Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks took the stage and revealed a plan that would become one of the most radical defense shifts in modern history.
Replicator is meant to help us overcome the PRC's biggest advantage, which is mass. More missiles, more people.
The Replicator Initiative. While the name might sound abstract, its goal was anything but. In 18 to 24 months, the US military committed to deploying thousands of autonomous systems across air, land, sea, and even space. Not decades from now. Not in theory, but right now, at speed and at scale. What makes Replicator revolutionary is its departure from traditional military thinking. For decades, the focus had been on bigger, better, and more expensive platforms, aircraft carriers, fifth-generation jets, precision bombers. But those assets come with staggering price tags and limited flexibility. Lose one, and the political fallout is enormous. The Replicator model flips that script. Instead of pouring billions into a few elite machines, it advocates for mass production of intelligent, disposable systems, drones, boats, land rovers, satellites, that are smart, self-directed, and cheap enough to lose in battle. Each drone or autonomous unit is capable of scouting, jamming enemy communications, launching precision strikes, or shielding human assets. Think of a single fighter jet escorted by 20 AI-powered wingmen, each with its own directive and lethal potential. Or imagine a fleet of self-piloted speedboats intercepting a hostile submarine before a manned vessel is even in range. Replicator's philosophy is clear. Overwhelm, confuse, and disable the enemy before they can react. And unlike manned platforms, these machines don't require training, rest, or rescue operations. And here's where things get even more disruptive. Replicator isn't bound by the traditional Department of Defense playbook. It embraces commercial innovation. Companies like Anduril, Palantir, Shield AI, and Kratos have been recruited to accelerate production, bypassing years of government red tape. These aren't old-school defense contractors. These are Silicon Valley-born tech giants with a mission-first, fail-fast culture. In their hands, drone swarms and battlefield AI aren't future possibilities. They're shippable products. Military insiders say Replicator marks a full paradigm shift in warfare. Instead of relying on technological superiority through limited platforms, the US is turning toward numerical, algorithmic, and logistical dominance, a defense approach built on scale, coordination, and automation. In this model, deterrence doesn't come from a bigger bomb. It comes from the certainty that hundreds of intelligent machines will respond before you even know what hit you. Why now? One word: China. Pentagon analysts have long feared that China's industrial capacity could outpace America in sheer volume of military hardware. Replicator is the answer to that threat. If China can build 1,000 tanks, the US will build 10,000 drones. If China sends a fleet, the US will deploy a swarm. These systems aren't just machines, they're strategy embodied in code. Yet behind the excitement lies a troubling question. These autonomous systems can act independently, process battlefield data in milliseconds, and even initiate strikes based on threat assessments. So what happens when a drone fires the first shot without a human in the loop? Can we trust AI with that decision? Will it know when to hold fire and when to escalate? Because as stunning as the Replicator initiative sounds, It's not just theory anymore. The Pentagon's bet on battlefield autonomy has already crossed a historic threshold, one where machines have made the decision to eliminate a target. But what happens when autonomous machines take the first shot without human confirmation? That question isn't just theoretical, it already happened. First strike without human command. In October 2023, a US Navy vessel made history, but not in the way anyone expected. During a classified live-fire test, a small, unmanned Navy boat launched real rockets at a simulated enemy target. What made this moment unprecedented wasn't the strike itself, but the complete absence of live human input. The boat had received its mission parameters in advance, but from the moment it left the dock, every decision was made by onboard algorithms. Target identification, positioning, weapons release, it all unfolded without a human pulling the trigger. This wasn't just another test. It was the first publicly confirmed case of a US autonomous weapon executing a kinetic strike without real-time human oversight. Military officials described it as a breakthrough in tactical autonomy. But for defense analysts around the world, it was something more chilling: the point of no return. The timing couldn't be more critical. As the war in Ukraine grinds on, and with tensions mounting around Taiwan and the South China Sea, the need for fast, decisive defense systems is growing. Intelligence sources report that the US and its allies are quietly building layered autonomous defense networks, systems of AI-powered drones, sensors, and strike platforms that can detect and neutralize threats within seconds, with or without human clearance. These aren't future concepts. They're being deployed right now aboard aircraft carriers, at forward operating bases, and while their mission is to protect, the risks are immense. These machines operate off algorithms trained on thousands of hours of combat data. They can distinguish friend from foe, predict missile trajectories, and jam radar networks. But what they can't do, at least not yet, is weigh the human cost of a mistake. One misread sensor, one corrupted line of code, one false positive, and an AI drone could mistake a civilian aircraft for a threat and fire without hesitation. Without strict human-in-the-loop controls, de-escalation becomes nearly impossible. The fear isn't that these machines will malfunction, it's that they'll perform exactly as programmed in a chaotic, unpredictable world. Military sources have admitted that some AI systems, particularly those developed under the Air Force's adaptive targeting chain model, are being trained to override human judgment in certain battlefield conditions. In other words, if the system detects a critical threat and determines that waiting for human input would compromise the mission, it is authorized to act on its own. That's a massive ethical and strategic shift, one that raises serious questions about accountability, legality, and escalation. Because what happens if an autonomous drone mistakes a radar ping from a Chinese vessel for a hostile act and launches a missile? Who's responsible? The algorithm, the coder, the commander who hit go? In a world where response time is measured in milliseconds, the space for diplomacy narrows to zero. And it's not just naval drones we need to worry about. In the skies, the most feared machine on Earth already exists, and it's not a prototype. It's operational, it's lethal, and it's so advanced that even America's closest allies are nervous about its presence. And the most feared machine in the sky isn't theoretical, it already exists, and even its allies are afraid of what it can do. Apex predator in the machine era. For 2 decades, the F-22 Raptor has been the silent ruler of the skies. Developed in secrecy, built for domination, and rarely deployed in combat, it was designed not just to win dogfights, but to end them before they start. Even today, no foreign aircraft can match its blend of stealth, supercruise, agility, and sensor fusion. But what makes the F-22 relevant now isn't just its unmatched performance, it's what the Air Force is pairing it with: Autonomous Collaborative Combat Aircraft, or CCAs. This next-gen force multiplier transforms the F-22 from a lone apex predator into the central node of a lethal hive. Imagine a single pilot commanding a team of AI-powered wingmen, each capable of jamming enemy radar, launching missiles, scouting terrain, or sacrificing themselves to protect the manned jet. These aren't just decoys. They're lethal, intelligent, and expendable. With the addition of CCAs, the F-22's combat radius expands far beyond what was once possible, allowing it to strike targets without ever entering the danger zone. Pilots have long described flying the F-22 as having a third eye. Its sensor fusion suite creates a seamless picture of the battle space, allowing human operators to react before threats even appear on radar. But that's already outdated thinking. What's coming is a collective machine mind, where CCAs communicate autonomously, react instantly, and engage threats before the human pilot is even aware. In this setup, the F-22 becomes the brain, directing a formation of AI drones that do the dirty work. And in the thick of battle, it's the drones, not the pilot, making real-time decisions based on evolving threat data. This shift turns the Raptor into more than a jet. It becomes a mobile command center, fusing reconnaissance, decision-making, and coordinated attack into a single flying node. And because the drones are cheaper and disposable, they can take higher risks, penetrating deeper into contested zones, baiting enemy fire, or even detonating on impact if needed. But the most chilling development, the Air Force is now actively exploring pilot-optional upgrades for the F-22. That means converting it into a platform that can fly entirely without a human on board. In a future not far off, the Raptor might launch from a runway, complete its mission, evade enemy fire, and return, all without anyone ever climbing into the cockpit. That would make the world's most lethal fighter jet, not just stealthy but ghost-like, unpredictable, fully autonomous, and untethered from human limitations. Upgrades like these are part of the Next Generation Air Dominance (NGAD) program, a top-secret initiative that's already influencing how legacy systems like the F-22 are being modified. New sensors, new control protocols, and machine learning-assisted targeting software are all in the works. And when paired with CCA swarms, the Raptor isn't just relevant, it's becoming the deadliest quarterback in aerial warfare. But this leap forward comes with a darker possibility that machines, not commanders, will make the next call to war. The global AI arms race is here. The United States may have fired the first autonomous shot, but it certainly won't be the last. As AI transforms military capabilities at breakneck speed, a new kind of global arms race has erupted, one where code, not missiles, may determine who dominates tomorrow's battlefield. Countries like China, Russia, India, South Korea, and Australia are no longer observing from the sidelines. They're investing billions in their own autonomous systems, each racing to build faster, smarter, and more lethal war machines. China, in particular, has made no secret of its ambitions. Under its civil-military fusion doctrine, the country has ordered full-scale integration of artificial intelligence across both commercial and defense sectors. It's a strategy designed to eliminate the traditional gap between military and private innovation. That means every AI breakthrough, from facial recognition to predictive modeling, can be adapted for military use. Chinese MQ-style drones, unmanned underwater vehicles, and even AI-controlled carrier ships have already been spotted operating in disputed waters of the South China Sea. These aren't experimental prototypes. They're mission-ready hardware built for surveillance, harassment, and, if needed, combat. Russia, too, has developed autonomous ground vehicles and drone systems, some reportedly deployed in Ukraine. India is investing in swarm drone technology, and South Korea has unveiled AI-powered sentry guns. Australia is quietly partnering with the US and UK under the AUKUS Pact to develop joint AI warfare initiatives. What we're witnessing isn't theoretical, it's a multinational sprint toward automated battlefield supremacy. But here's the real danger. The faster these systems become, the less time humans have to stop them. Military AI is designed to shorten response times, a feature that makes perfect sense in war. But in high-stakes grey zone conflicts, like freedom of navigation patrols or aerial interceptions, This compression of reaction time could become catastrophic. Imagine a scenario where a Chinese drone misreads a US destroyer's radar ping as an incoming missile lock. The drone fires, an American ship returns fire, and by the time a human commander is alerted, it's already too late. The war has started, and no one even authorized it. One misinterpretation, one misfire, one broken communication link, and machines programmed for speed will do exactly what they were built to do. With AI, escalation no longer happens in hours or minutes, it happens in milliseconds. And unlike nuclear weapons, autonomous military systems don't need massive infrastructure or a chain of command. They don't require siloed launch sites, coded authorizations, or the looming weight of mutually assured destruction. These systems can be tested in secret, deployed in silence, and act without needing a human to verify the target. The barrier to entry is lower. The controls? Far more fragile. That raises an inescapable ethical question. If an AI drone takes a civilian's life by mistake, or triggers an international crisis, who's responsible? The engineer, the commanding officer, the software itself? International law hasn't caught up, and military doctrines are still playing catch-up to realities unfolding in real time. The chain of accountability is becoming dangerously blurred, leaving loopholes no one seems prepared to address. As AI continues to evolve, these gaps could be exploited faster than regulations can be written. The era of autonomous warfare isn't on the horizon, it's already here. From AI-driven dogfights to drone swarms and machines making split-second decisions without human input, the battlefield is changing faster than anyone imagined. The US may have taken the lead, but the race is global, and the consequences are irreversible. Will these machines make war safer, faster, more precise, or will they strip humanity from the most dangerous decisions of all? One thing is clear, the rules of conflict have changed, and there's no turning back. If this video gave you a glimpse into the future of warfare, let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch the next video on your screen for more high-impact stories like this one.